What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. Today we have our FMR Tier 2 race from the other day at Spain. If you are new to the channel, I'd appreciate a sub, maybe a like and a comment on the video. But today we're going to be getting into this league race. We had a pretty strong qualifying, as you're going to see coming up in the start of the qualifying. It is a short qualifying today, 50% race. There was some clear weather, no surprises on the weather. I can't say we had the strongest race. Didn't do as well as last week, but there's going to be some surprise moments in there. I mean, a lot of action did happen, and I really hope you enjoy this race. Peace. And I also just like to take this minute just to apologise about the quality of my camera. It's only a 720p cheap Logitech camera that I use for streaming. I am planning on upgrading my microphone and my camera next. I've spent a lot of time upgrading my setup for entertainment and production value over the last couple of months. So I hope you can grin and bear with the poor quality for the next couple of videos, but I assure you it'll improve. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. And here we are, heading into this race now. I mean, I was feeling confident with the setup I had. I'd practiced for a few hours before this, but I did have the downside. I was on my new wheel. I'd only been on this about a day at this point. So I did not feel that confident on it. I'd had a Japan race the day before, went horrifically. Had a good meeting with Barrier in Sector 1. Had a meeting over coffee. It was good. Decided just to take a tactical DNF, a skill quit on that one. We didn't finish the Japan race. The seat not as sturdy as I thought it'd be. The Playseat Evo with the new Fanatec wheel, I mean, it's rattling. There's no doubt about that. No upgrades needed. But yeah, the qualifying was really strong from me going into this race, I believe. I thought I had some good pace, even still carrying over from the Logitech G920 coming into this race. I felt it was strong. After the McLaren's performance at the first race in Austria, I mean, strong performance there from both McLaren. So we are still leading the constructors. It's all dependent on this race. There is, I think, a new driver on the grid for Mercedes, Daki, I believe, pairing up with Dan, who is obviously a fantastic driver on the grid, along with a few of the others. I believe we had this race being commentated over on the official FMR live stream by Mr. Verdex. But yeah, I'm going to give you some live commentary throughout the first lap. What I felt was good, what I felt was bad, sort of, with this wheel. What I felt I could do better. Still warming up the tyres. Tyres felt good. Tyres felt really good going around this lap, to be honest with you. It was just the confidence on the wheel. I don't think I got the greatest entry on the start of the lap either, chomping a bit of that curb there. I was just scared of getting the power down. You could see there the throttle input is just a bit restrained. Starting the lap here. Just missing that car coming out there. So I want to get it on this curb, brake as the Astro changes, mount this curb, get it thrown in and mount this curb. I do get quite a good turn 1 and 2, tucking it in tight as I can. It's where a lot of people lose time by throwing it wide. You want to get yourself as tight in as that. Brake in a straight line there as much as possible, even though it is throwing it into that bend. Point your car away from the turn with the brake in there. Get her tucked in. Get the power down early, shifting up into fourth to minimise that wheel spin. See here, you want to get as much of this curb as possible to get that car rotated round. Almost losing the rear end there. A little bit of squeal. Rear tyres were a little bit iffy at this point. Getting the power down, braking as much in a straight line as here, turning as late as possible, missing that apex, kissing the outside just so we don't lose traction, getting a bit of that curb to not unsteady the car, tucking it in. Clean lap so far, I think. It's just this final sector where I was really losing time because I just couldn't get it turned in. The confidence just wasn't there. The first lap, absolute great banker lap. Great banker lap. Putting it across the line of 1:16.594. I don't think that's going to stand for that long, but still, absolutely fantastic pace on the outlap, I think, from me. Still some improvements to go. We've got 1:15s in time trial. But yeah, let's see how the next lap goes for me. So just heading on into our second lap now. Done our outlap, boxed in. Decided to bolt on another set of fresh softs. Didn't think the mediums were there on the short qualifying. I thought the pace was there on the soft. So going to come across the line now. Start our second lap. Thank you very much for the follow, bro. Fantastic follow alert sound there. Already gaining time from the line. Seeing these two cars coming out. Luckily, they do stay out of the way, but they definitely unsteady me. Lost the confidence. They're completely going through turns 1 and 2. Just, I don't know. I just looking up. You know, when just something takes your focus away, you just completely lose your braking point. Lost the positioning of my car. Completely unsteadied me there. So, just going to go round again. Hope I got enough fuel to stick in another lap. And see what unfolds from there. Here we go. The next lap again. Same tyres, just a little bit later on the lap. Still felt I had the fuel to get another one off. So, going to start across the line. As you see, we've already dropped down to third place. Our teammate pulling ahead of us into second. Dan with the strong pace again. A 1:16.1. We're already up. Going to bring it through turns 1 and 2. Hope to keep the car steady. Losing a little bit of time there. But gaining it again on turn 2. Just with that exit confidence on that throttle. Trying to get it in as tight as I possibly can again. Just trying to gain a bit of time. Just hit some more of those apexes. Get the car positioned correctly. Get it turned in correctly. Slow in, fast out is what I'm just trying to maximise at the minute. See, I'm already a 1/10.5 up. Gaining time. Throwing it through there. 2/10 up now. Try and get it as flat as I can through here. Shifting up into 7th to minimise the wheel spin. 3/10 up, getting a little bit of tow from our teammate into the end of the second sector, going purple there. Get the power down, shift up through those gears. Little bit more confidence. You can see through it, 5/10 up. There's the confidence just gains on the throttle here. Sector 3, nailing it. Much better than I have been before. Little bit of unsteadiness there as I hit the curb. So you can see there's still a lot of time to gain there as we lost it in the second sector, third sector as well. 5, nearly 6/10 up, a 1:16.009. Pole position by a 10th. Even I know, you can hear me there. I know I can go faster than that. But yeah, so I think, yeah, very strong lap. But we'll see again if I can improve in the third lap. So here we go now, heading into the third and final lap, which I believe is probably one of the strongest qualifying laps I've ever done around Spain. Fantastic exit, getting the power down early. The little mile-an-hour exit speeds matter by the time you get to the end, but I was already down here. 2 cars in the way a little bit here. We managed to get out, but they both get out of the way. Managing to get our way through there somehow. Through this pack of cars, we're still a 10th up. I don't know how we've managed that. Purple in sector 1, still managing to maintain that 10th gap. Beautiful exit there. Power down early. Upshift early. As much of this curb as I dare without losing that back end. Still a 10.5 up. Trying to get flat out through here. As crisp as you like. Getting that DRS down early. Let's try and get it braked as late as I can. Turning as late as I can. Perfect. Try get into 4th, 5th. Get it tucked in. Power down, upshift into 5th early. So I don't get that wheel spin. Tuck it in nice and tight. But can I get the exit this time? Losing a little bit of time there. Gets it this time though. Beautiful exit. 3/10 gain here. Coming across the line. Doing a 1:15.704 there though. But we are going for the back-to-back laps. We do have the fuel for it. Can he improve?
Yeah, I'm staying P3, I just invalidated.
Still keeping it close to the time. Much better exit at the end of sector 1 there. He's down a little bit of time though. Gaining it back though with the exit. Purple sector 1 setting again. I've noticed I've lost quite a bit of time here though. Continuously looking at that delta time. Looking at that drop. Looking at that gap. Trying not to get nervous. Trying to keep the composure as we bring it across these curbs here. Coming into the end of sector 2. Into the start of sector 3. Still, I think I'm just positive I can get this time. So I'm just committed as you can to this lap. Still coming through here. Notice how far I am down. Still thinking, should I back out? And then he's in the barriers. He's out. Luckily, setting the pole lap though. coming across the line myself with a 1:15.7. But yeah, pretty anticlimactic ending. Thought we was going to go for the big guns, get the great time again, but no. Finishing it in that way. Let's see how the times end up after this.
Wow.
And here we have it.
Wow.
There are the times. I come in with a 1:15.704, holding it down. We got Dan, strong time. 1:15.735. Couldn't quite get it off me. Teammate Cammy with a 1:16.282. You got Lars with a 1:16.302. The Ferrari with a 1:16.5. I mean, look how tight it is in the midfield between Hutsy, Brizin, Valen, Galaxy, and Shares. All putting in strong 1:16s. Outer Rim and Weeksy in the 1:17s with Arle, Lexus, and that guy. The two Astons, terrible performance there, 1:17 and a 1:18. Xerox in the Haas, we're going to see a fantastic performance from him today. Cap, watch to the end for that. We got Daki, the new performer in the Mercedes, not too strong in qualifying there, not setting a time. He did crash out early on. We got Mute, didn't manage to get a lap in. I think he got into the qualifying pretty late there, but yeah, hope you enjoyed that qualifying. Let's get into the race. So just cut in here, a little bit of Codemasters, great game coming in. The game did disconnect. Someone didn't manage to get through. Something happened in the formation lap. I'm not too sure. Someone disconnected, but yeah. So we had to completely restart the lobby. So we did get some fresh soft tires, which was good because ours were absolutely rinsed after we decided to double lap pretty much all of our sets. So yeah, that is a pretty massive advantage starting on pole with a set of fresh soft tyres. I thought the strategy for me going through here would be a soft medium because I did anticipate safety cars, as everyone should anticipate safety cars. I did overfuel the car a little bit. I should have gone with a little bit less fuel, but I was expecting a little bit of better performance out of myself today. But yeah, let's line ourselves back on the grid and get ourselves into this race. Here we go now. Lined ourselves back up on the grid. Getting the lights, getting ready to get ourselves underway. Trying to get a good start here. And then go out, getting ourselves underway. Dan, much better start off the line. I got a terrible start. So did our teammate Lars, already up into P3. Dan, already up into P1. I'm definitely going to be sticking it around the outside. Try and get the position done. Stay committed. Dan leaving us as much room as he possibly can, but still getting the move done. As we're going to tuck in behind him now. Try and get ourselves settled in, get ourselves stable. Try to defend as much as we possibly can from Lars as well as we get this opening lap underway. Trying to keep our lines nice, trying to keep them tidy still, not to lose a lot of speed because we're still in that qualifying mode at the minute where you don't really feel the weight of that 33 laps worth of fuel as we almost lose the car going through there. There's a lot more weight to the car. You can't throw it through some of these corners like you usually would do. My audio here is currently having a problem under this race, so I'm trying to fix it as I went down that straight. I managed to do it. My headphones sometimes lose audio. As Dan, 8/10 gap he's got at the minute. I'm going to be fighting to stay in his DRS zone as I've regained my focus a little bit more now. Trying to keep composed coming through these last corners where I've been struggling. Careful not to pick up a warning there. I should have probably picked up a warning there. Codemaster's probably working in my favour as Dan sits at 1:22.2 in the opening lap. Obviously not with a good sector 1 with the start as we try and gain as much time as we can on Dan. Already putting 40% of our battery down. Cam picking up the place on Lars though seemed to hold him up a bit, but we have managed to gap them a little bit more as we stay in this battle with Dan. Fantastic driver is Dan as I go a little bit wide there under the dirty air. Very difficult to drive under the dirty air around Spain. Kills your tyres very quickly. Front left tyre really does take some damage around Spain. Concentration I've got at the minute. Not even a blink. Trying to stay stable, trying to stay in that DRS as that is going to get activated at the end of this lap. We're going to try and break away from the other pack, but we want to keep our teammate with us as he's putting down some pace as well. Trying to get himself back in the DRS zone to us as he knows it is coming.
Arle's already out.
There's Arle, you see the Ferrari. has already retired on track of Arley. He hasn't had a great start to his season so far, as he is a fantastic racer as well. He's another streamer like myself.
I've got Lars out of the
As our teammate does manage to clear Lars of DRS, Dan putting in another fastest lap, but Cam pinching off of him with a 1:19.3. As DRS does get enabled, we're going to try and stay as much with Dan as we can.
Now we got back in.
Already feeling these tyres coming into play now. The fresh soft's really giving us an advantage here. I'm going to try and cut out as much as I can of this race just to keep the video as short as possible, but obviously with this action going on at the minute, I will cut away, as there are some bits a little bit later on in the race where I do make some mistakes. You're going to see some moments as I pick up a warning there. Not the best. Getting that DRS, staying in that DRS detection zone of Dan. Cam still not quite managing to pick up the DRS with us. Getting really close with Dan though. This dirty air is really starting to become a problem, because I'm feeling these rear tyres are overheating for me now, as I'm starting to drift a little bit more wide, getting a little bit more oversteer. Fantastic exit there, a little bit of squeal from the tyres there, getting the stability on the exit, getting the DRS done, trying to get the move done on Dan. He's popped her out, getting it done, putting down a little bit of battery so I can maintain that position as we go into turn one now, getting some of that curve, try to keep her steady with the extra weight of that fuel. Absolutely nailing that. Composure, not even a problem there. Just trying my hardest to break this gap to him now. Setting ourselves a purple sector 1 of 22 flat. Almost going through sector 1. As wide as I dare through there. Nice and tight. Dan still keeping it as close as you like behind me. Might as well get in the boot of the McLaren at this point. Inhaling those exhaust fumes as we almost lose it going there. Getting ourselves some battery down to regain that little bit of time we just lost. Trying to keep it as straight as we can. A lot of people make the mistake of continuing that steering angle going through that turn, and it does wander that mistake of putting your front end into that wall. Getting yourselves a good meeting with Barry R. Nearly losing it there. Trying to keep it composed. Still, this rear end is feeling loose as anything, as I've put so much battery down as I've pushed on this lap. Still, don't pick up a warning there. Codemaster's working on my side. We're going to put down the fastest lap here. The 1:19.334 as Dan with the DRS. Dominating pace from the Mercedes going down into turn one now on the first DRS straight. Picking ourselves up another warning there. Silly mistakes here. 2 warnings now. Intense battle between the Mercedes and the McLaren now. Looking at our differential. Just making sure we are on the right setting, because I just feel like there's so much understeer. I'm losing so much under braking, but it's just the dirty air. Telling him we need to box this lap. I feel like the undercut might be strong on Dan. I'm not sure what he's going to do on this lap. Checking the tyres, checking that front left. 31%. We're only at lap 5. Bearing in mind, we did start on fresh softs as we pick up a penalty now. Really struggling on these soft tyres now. Staying in DRS. Getting it on as early as I possibly can. Trying to maintain that gap. Still surprised there's no safety cars. You can see the field at the bottom left-hand corner now as we're looking at just how dispersed it is. Some big gaps already forming. 5 laps in. A lot of mistakes to be made around Spain though. It's quite a punishing track. We're just going to see what Dan does. Doesn't put it in the pit, so we're going to try. There's a late move, nearly cutting the curb there. Just missing the wall. Trying not to get a penalty. Nicely done. So we're going to get her into the pits, get a recovery lap. See where this pit stop can put us. Get ourselves back into the racing. So here we are getting back into the action now. I've had a good little fight back on these medium tyres. Dan will be sticking it into the box on this lap. 7 laps in. Got a good stint out of his soft tyres. We've got this Haas holding us up a little bit as we're trying to get past him. He's on some old medium tyres. This guy does give us some serious problems in this race. This will be his last race in this league, unfortunately. So we will have replacements in the Haas for the next race. But you'll see him coming a bit later. As you see Dan coming out the pits now. Still didn't manage to get the undercut. Was held up quite a bit on those outlaps. He's still 1.1 ahead of me, still outside of the DRS here. Try and get as much time back on him as we can. We still do have to take our penalty into account as we're struggling to get these medium tyres under wraps.
I got held up so much.
As you can hear me there, just letting you know I've been held up.
Oh, I'm boxing again.
Teammate also had a bit of a fight back through on lap 8 here. Medium's feeling good, still going strong on this race. Just trying to get that gap back on Dan. Still pretty much no ERS left as I'm clawing my way back through this sector here. I've had a very, very rocky third sector pretty much throughout this entire weekend on this race, to be honest. You see the amount of traffic in front now. You've got outer rim on the hard tyres. Really, really holding Dan up a lot now. Actually playing into my hands a little bit here. As I set the fastest lap on the medium tyres, just getting a stonks third sector there. There's a battle in front of us, unfolding into turn 1. It's going to hold Dan up a little bit more again. But you see the amount of gain he just got there, having the ERS and the DRS here. As Cammy, our teammate, is coming back close to me as well now. Still a great fight through this. Extremely close. Dan has managed to get his way through both of the cars in P8 and P7 now on the older tyres. Still holding a net P1 in this race though, as I'm still struggling on these medium tyres. There's a little bit of contact there from the Alpha and the Red Bull as we're going to come through here now. Alpha really, really starting to hold us up on these medium tyres now as we go a little bit wide there. Teammate behind me now pretty much inhaling the exhaust fumes of the McLaren now as this Alpha struggling through here, getting it untidy through sector 3. We really need to get the overtake done on him this lap because Dan is pretty much gained a 3 to 4 second gap on us now. Alpha out of DRS, still got no battery left. We need to make the move on him. Up the inside now. He sticks it around the inside still, making a little bit of contact with me as we get the move done now. As you see, Daki is also span out as we claw another position there. Looking to overtake Valen as well now. There's a back marker. Still close to this Red Bull though. These hard tyres under braking, you can just see the amount of gain into the braking zones we get on the Red Bull in front of us. Trying to get it close. See if we can get the move done here. Trying not to use any battery. As I see, I'm almost on the 10% mark as we're going to get the move. Getting as close as we can. Almost making contact with the Red Bull there as we've got a yellow flag just behind us. As Valen, I believe, brings out the safety car here. But yeah, this really does throw a spanner into the works of the race now. Because you're going to get a lot of the drivers in front of us that are on the older tyres. Some of the ones that are behind us that have stuck these tyres out. But as you see, I'm going to throw it into the box as well. Follow what everybody else in front of me does. Try not to get a penalty as we send it into the box. As we are going to bolt on some hard tyres and try and go to the end of the race. So we'll see how that goes. The safety car, see who jumps who, and we'll get back to those laps. And here we go. Back into the racing. About to get the green flag. Now we're still behind the Red Bull of Outer Rim, coming out in 6th position. Still have the fastest lap as we get a pretty decent start. They're going to be battling in front of us. As we've got the Alfa Romeo on the fresh, soft compound tyres. As Outer Rim holds us up a little bit. We're going to have to let the Alfa have the space here. As Cammy, our teammate, getting really close to us again. We're going to have to give him the respect it warrants around the inside for him as well. Leave him the space if he does choose to send it. But the Alfa on the softs beating us on the pace. How close these cars are at the minute going through here. Brizin almost getting a little bit of oversteer there, losing the back end. But the Red Bull really, really holding up the midfield here. as everybody's trying to claw their way back on the positions, because everybody knows this is the best position, best time to be getting the positions back. As the Alpha sends it on Brisen as well. I tried to go for the move there, having to back out, almost making contact with the AlphaTauri of Brisen there. Still some very, very close racing going into the third sector here. Cammy giving us a little bit of tap on the rear there, just letting us know he's there. Brisen almost losing it there. Feeling the pressure on the McLaren breathing down his neck as we go for the move around the outside into the final turn, down the home straight. No DRS enabled yet. After to dump a little bit of a battery, we can notice he's got a little bit of a lower rear wing than us. Is gaining that time as we try to stick the move around the outside. Try not to take too much of that curb, keeping it composed, keeping the traction, try not to lose it. Brisen aware I was looking for the switchback there. He knew, letting off a little bit. There's Daki going for the move around the inside of us as well. A little bit of aggression from the Mercedes here. Quite unwarranted given the 5-second penalty he's holding at the minute. Tries to go around the outside of us both, leaving us a little bit of space. But I'm just starting to lose my composure here as a little bit, as I just think he didn't need to be this aggressive. And I lose it. There goes the front wing. We've lost it. Losing our composure behind the Mercedes. Getting too close to the dirty air. Just losing the composure. The amount of cars getting past us. Trying not to get in the way here. Absolute doos of a race from us losing it. Damaging the front wing. Nearly taking out the Red Bull as Cammy has also spun and DNF'd. Almost DNF'd there as well. So we got both McLarens in the absolute shed at the minute. A ruiner of a race. In the bin. The strategy is out the window. We are absolutely going to need to double stack here. I'm going to go for the new medium tyres now. We're going to have to box both of us double stack. We're going to try and get this back out. But yeah, McLaren at this point are in the bin. So here we are now, jumping back on board. Lap 25 as our teammate crashes, causing a safety car. The most perfectly timed strategy. Literally on the same lap we're supposed to be boxing for the soft tyres. I can guarantee you this was not strategically played. He genuinely crashed and this genuinely was the lap that I was going to box on anyway. So we have got the fresh soft tyres bolted on. Not going to lose any time in comparison to the people in front of us. So this is going to be a great fight back for the rest of our race. So this is going to be amazing to see how this unfolds for Team McLaren from here. Here we are chopping back in now. And here we have that Haas in front of us that I was talking about earlier that puts in a premium race for us. So the safety car is in this lap. We're about to get underway. So you see one of the first premium moves by the Haas coming up just in front of us now. And brakes on. There you go. And you know exactly what happens as soon as someone does that to you. There it is. 5-second penalty for a severe collision with the Haas, which hopefully does get removed from our race time. That does put us a little bit in the shed, as he is on 13 seconds worth of penalties. We're trying to get a great start behind this Haas, but it's just not possible because he's just like he's sleeping. It's like he's just completely went to sleep. So we are now 1.5, 1.6 seconds off the pace already under this safety car restart. So 4 laps to go in this race to try and gain our way back as much as we can. But I'm just feeling uncomposed at this point. I'm feeling, you know, when you get into that mode of a race where you're just like, my race is over. I don't really care what happens now. You don't really think about the drivers in front of you. You start to send silly, audacious moves and just cause more problems for yourself. But really, in this situation, the best thing I should be doing is just getting relaxed. But I send a great move here up the inside of the Alpine of Mute there. Coming out on top there. Picking myself up another position. But penalty-wise, we are not looking good. So we need to start doing some work. Hope for no more mistakes into the last 4 laps of this race. As we are now back in the DRS zone of the Red Bull in front of us. Putting down as much pace as we possibly dare. We've got low fuel, fresh softs. We're feeling really, really fast in the late stages of these racing compared to the drivers in front of us. We've already broke the gap to the medium runner behind us. We've got the other Haas working in strategy, holding up the rest of the grid for us. As we're trying to get some battery unloaded onto Galaxy in front of us, the Red Bull, try and get a move done on him. Realise he's just got too much wing for us. We cannot get the move done on him, so backing out that little bit. There's the other Haas spinning out almost as we pick up another 3-second time penalty there. So both Hasses now having a little bit of a awful time in the last closing laps of this race. This race here. I think I almost had a stroke there. Jesus Christ. Oh, as we lose it. Almost lose it again. Just holding third gear for way too long there. Just so losing my composure here. Get as close as we dare again through this sector. Is this going to bite us though, getting this close? The dirty air is viciously strong around this track as we're going to look to maybe make a move onto the Red Bulls here as we look down the inside. Almost making contact there with Shares, but trying to get the move done up the inside here. As we quickly dispatch the Red Bull of Galaxy. Is a fantastic racer. Galaxy and the Red Bull as we try to move up on Shares as well. Coming through this final sector, almost making contact with the AlphaTauri, just giving him a little nudge there. Going around as we nearly lose it again. The rear's screaming at me at the minute, just overheating as I'm trying to push them as hard as I possibly can. 2 laps remaining in this race. Can I hold it though? Coming into turn 1 now. Turn 2. Pick up another warning there. All of us going wide here, picking up this dirty air. Share's looking for a move up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Can't quite get it done, but the Alfa Romeo does swing wide on the medium tyres. Light blinker there. A little bit of contact, giving us the insight for the move up the inside of the AlphaTauri as well, but he is confident around the outside with the traction he's got under them soft compound tyres. Sticking the move up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Both giving each other amples of space. Tiny bit of contact. Can he still stick the move around the outside? The Alfa up the inside, still with the confidence as they both take each other out into the barriers, gifting us 7th position as we are hoping for the safety car not to come out.
That was entirely that Alfa Romeo's fault.
As you saw that move there, absolutely in the bin for both Alfa Romeo there and the AlphaTauri. Awful end to the race on lap 31 for the pair of them as they go and have a good double date with Barrier at the end of Sector 2 there. But we're going to try and hold down this position in P7 now. We're still looking at some good points. Just letting Galaxy know behind us that we're not looking to fight him that much. We do have the penalties, so we let him go pretty easily beyond us. As we do have Brizin round as well. Picking up a spin, the yellow flag in the start of Sector 2. As we're looking better and better and better as this race does go on a little bit more. But can we keep the confidence just to hold it to the end of the race? The AlphaTauri of Brizin is looking slow. Wondering if he's got a little bit of damage here. But we're not too sure as we try and keep as close to him as we possibly can. Try not to lose it on the outskirts again. As we pick up another warning. As close as we dare to the AlphaTauri coming up here to the start of Sector 3. Can we get the move done on Brizin? We have to send it now. Looking for the inside dive. Leaving us enough space around the outside there. We're trying to get it done. Refuse to back out on this. We need to get as much positioning done here as we possibly can on the AlphaTauri of Brizin. We can't give the place to him. Even though he's got no penalties, a fantastic race, he's still going to get it back. We can't risk losing this time behind him to potentially lose more positions behind us through our own penalties. Because you've got to remember, we do have a potential 5-second penalty that can be removed because of that incident with the Haas. But we're going into the final lap now. Can we hold the composure in the last lap? Because we both look for the inside. As we make contact with Brizin, a terrible move by me. In the bin, McLaren. With a reset as well. McLaren absolutely in the bin as both Hasses now splitting us like marmalade now. Up the inside. We've got Weeksy behind us, Xerox. This is where we're going to see the audacious strategy from Gunther Steiner coming into play. I mean, I know they've had a absolute stinker of a season coming out from Haas, but some of the moves that you're about to see here from this Haas as he gets his weave going here, trying to get us behind his teammate, just holding us up as we pick up 2 more warnings here, just losing the composure behind this car here. And he starts weaving again. I don't know what he's doing here. This driver will not be returning to the FMR grid. as we send it up the inside. Clean move there, but he just continues to turn onto the inside of us. We're not letting him back on the track. No way at this point. You got Leo spinning out, so close to getting himself in a fantastic position on that race as well. But McLaren bringing it across the line. We are going to pick ourselves up some points. I think we're going to bring it home in P10 by the end of this race. Yeah, when the penalties cross the line, P9. Yeah, P10 by the end of the race. But hopefully with that penalty removal we can get something better. But yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping by and watching this FMR installment. Look forward to my race live on Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. But yeah, thank you for watching this. Please do subscribe and drop a like and comment on the video. And I hope to see you in the next installment. Peace.